Twin Bill, where you can get your fill of hosts Jason and Marcus talking about movies and stuff. You know you never can get enough. A twin is two people who are related. Twin Bill. This season is Razzie Mania. Hello, and welcome to Twin Bill, show where your favorite twins, Marcus and Jason, fit the bill, talk about movies that are on a bill. Uh, Bill Walton might be involved from the grave. I don't know. Where am I going with this? Okay, welcome to the show. Here's my co-host and twin brother, Marcus Luna. How are you doing today, Marcus?
Doing all right. How are you?
Fine. I need the people only give me money. I feel better. Anyway, all right. I'm fine. I'm fine. All right. Usual segment to open the show. Did you watch anything this week other than Stir Crazy?
I did cut into my TV backlog. I finished Daredevil Born Again season two.
Eh,
It had its flaws, but I enjoyed it. Similar to Punisher, The Last Kill. I think that's what it's called. Uh,
the one
Flaws, but I
the
enjoyed it.
the one shot 40 minute long TV episode length.
Yes. And I'm 3 or 4 episodes into the final season of The Boys. Um,
Wow. I still need to go back to season two. I was on way behind.
yep.
Okay.
Violent television with its flaws. Violent superhero television with its flaws. What have you watched?
Good transition because both of my movies are violent for different reasons. Uh, I watched the newest Predator film that goes very well with WWE Rikishi's heel run. Predator, Badlands.
The phrase Badlands has something to do with Rikishi.
No, because his son his they changed it because it was so bad. But his initial song when he turned heel was Bad Man. Anyway, I watched Predator Badlands. Uh, it was okay. If you liked killer, especially killers, a little bit of prey, it's kind of more of the same. It's not bad. That's about it. Movie I really want to recommend. I wouldn't be surprised if it was on your 1001 list. It's called Eating Raoul. It's the magnum opus of Paul Bartel, the fat bald character actor who played the. I remember him best as the movie Usher in Gremlins 2, who asks Hulk Hogan's help with the Gremlins in the projection booth.
Wow, it's been so long since I watched Gremlins too. I can't remember a lot of things.
Paul Bartel is also a independent filmmaker. This movie's it's very great. It's very good. It's got a I describe it as trauma like. It's not gross and it's not stupid, but it is very like earnestly what's the word? Slapstick silly. And it's a really clever dark comedy. It's there's this couple who they want to raise money for their restaurant, and their big get rich quick scheme is to attract like sex pests who want to pay money to basically have sex with his wife, and they murder them and steal their money. And it's very funny in a very art house independent but still hilarious way. Eating Raoul. Check it
Hmm.
out. It's on Tubi. The rare redeemable art house movie on Tubi. So there you go. And then okay, yeah. So let's talk about another movie about trying to get money by committing crimes. Stir Crazy. I want to briefly talk about why we're talking about a new segment on the show. Why this movie matters now. This movie is actually actually a really good example because you got financially poor citizens put in jail for a crime they didn't commit. They're abused in prison. The appeals
Hmm.
process is shown to be often delayed and filled with red tape and factually incorrect. And criminals being forced into recrimination, in this case, a prison break. So, totally valid modern prison issues in this movie, especially how shitty prison is.
Yeah.
All right. Should I go first or second on the crew breakdown?
You can go first.
Okay. Uh, this movie is directed by Sidney Poitier. Uh, the of his filmography, the one I'd be most excited to watch is Hanky Panky. It's a Gene Wilder, Gilda Radner rom com where they actually met and fell in love in real life. And then in 1990, his final directorial film was a doozy, Ghost Dad, starring Bill Cosby. And we'll see you at the Razzies. What do you think of Sidney Poitier's directing style off of one movie?
Yeah, I haven't seen him direct anything else. It's a lot of great films as an actor. I've seen a sizable chunk of his movies he's famous for. Not all of them, but um, I mean, it's not particularly remarkable directing wise. I feel like a lot of actors, directors, quote unquote, kind of direct like a play almost. So yeah, so I don't know. Do you think anything notable about it?
I mean, he clearly had a sensibility for, like most people directed Richard Pryor did, of like, get out of the way and let him do his yelly thing, which is hilarious. And Gene Wilder in particular, there's a lot of physicality, like that shot where Craig T. Nelson chains all four of Gene Wilder's limbs to his cell. And he's like dancing in the cell. I mean, I think it is kind of generic direction, but it's definitely better than average. If that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. Good visuals, clean visuals.
Okay, moving on.
Yep.
Were you familiar at all with the writing of Bruce J. Friedman?
No, not before I looked it up. His career's all over the place because this movie makes it seem like he's a very clever writer. But he wrote freaking Doctor Detroit and Splash. So mediocre failure and mediocre success.
Actually, an author as well. He wrote the story, it's a short story that The Heartbreak Kid is based on. Um,
Yeah, I have to see that movie, so no comment. But yeah, no real terrible misses I saw on his resume. So yep. Moving on. I don't know how you'd be familiar, but were you familiar with the rare successful 80s female producer Hannah Weinstein? Were you familiar with Hannah Weinstein at all?
no,
Not a lot of
can't
hits.
say.
For some reason, she has a ton of credits with generic Robin Hood adaptations. There was a TV show in the 50s and a totally forgotten movie in the 80s. No connection to like obviously not Men in Tights, but like or the Prince of Thief, whatever the Kevin Costner one's called. None of that. She also produced a movie about the first black man to win a NASCAR race, starring Richard Pryor as the NASCAR driver. Sounds boring.
Well, Claudine's she also produced. I wonder if she is she African American.
I don't know.
That makes sense because she produced Claudine, which is a pretty famous. Some would say I've heard it be discussed as a kind of paved the way for African Americans in cinema type of thing. Um,
Oh yeah. Well, obviously, yeah. She hitched the wagon to Richard Pryor, so that's a good start, yeah, or ending or whatever. Yeah, it's good. Go ahead.
uh, what do you think of Tom Scott's music?
Uh, uh, it's kind of hard to really dislike anything in this movie because it's so random and silly. I thought it kind of fit the generic vibe of like going on adventures. The only thing I didn't like was I almost put it as a worst scene candidate was they drive to Arizona and their beat up van and they play like road trip music and that was pretty flat. Like they could use bigger score for that. Yeah.
I thought the music was one of the worst parts of the movie. It was distracting and jarring. Uh, Trying too hard to be like, this is the score for a comedy movie.
Yeah,
Looking
it's
at some,
fair. The movie, I mean, yeah, I'm very forgiving to comedy scores because it's just like cue the zany music. But I don't disagree. And I want to briefly mention for our audience, I guess for you, he's like the least recognizable of the musicians who acted in the Blues Brothers movie.
he's a saxophone player.
I know, but he's not as a big of a part as Black Guy Married to Aretha Franklin or the waiter at the restaurant.
It's true, he doesn't get any dialogue. But I believe he works at the chicken place with the bassist guy who's married to Aretha Franklin's character.
Yeah, you better think. Let's tell Blues Brothers instead. No, I'm kidding. All right, so let's go into the cast. Obviously, start out big heavyweights here. Uh, what is your personal favorite Gene Wilder performance?
Mm, it's a lot to choose from. I don't know, it feels like a tie between a lot of things, but probably Young Frankenstein in terms of his leading work, although he's excellent in Blazing Saddles as well. But I will shout out a small role in uh, Bonnie and Clyde, where he plays an Undertaker who goes along for the ride for a little bit.
Yeah, that was good. Uh, yeah, I agree. I agree with Young Frankenstein. It helps that he wrote the screenplay and he gave Mel Brooks notes beforehand, including the film had to be in black and white or he wouldn't do it.
What's your favorite Richard Pryor performance?
So this is kind of weird because I he's just not in very consistent movies. Like this movie's probably the closest to a cohesive movie he's been in. So my favorite performance is either when he hosted SNL in like 1975 or whatever, or his stand up, especially live on the Sunset Strip, which is one of the greatest feature film stand up specials ever recorded. How about you?
Uh, I honestly haven't seen a lot. Apparently, he had a cameo in the Muppet movie, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, but I don't remember that cameo. Honestly, seen bits of Superman 3 and bits of Brewster's Millions on TV. Managed to avoid a lot of Richard Pryor movies before this, to be honest. So I did see Car Wash on TCM run random time. It looked horrible. Um,
Yeah, I have not seen it, but I agree with the first take. Yes,
so whatever, I don't know. This definitely trumps all of it.
yeah, I think this is a good one. All
Probably
right,
before his cameo on Lost Highway.
yeah. If we're in just pure movie he was in, just it's so sad with his MS, kind of like mumbling a little bit, but yeah, yeah, good performance too. All right, we both know we know nothing about I don't know how to pronounce it. George or George Stanford Brown. So here's a question: on a scale of 1 to 10, how offensive of a gay stereotype of a straight man playing a gay man is his role in this movie?
I think the Razzies overreacted. So with going into it knowing that he got nominated for worst supporting actress, which is oof, good job, way to be offensive, Razzies.
Yeah,
Uh, it's kind of bad in hindsight. Um, Honestly, the most offensive thing related to him is at the end when he kisses Richard Pryor, and then Richard Pryor goes, "Ooh, he kissed me." Ooh. But I actually thought he was somewhat charming because he's a straight man. He was married to Tyne Daly for decades.
right. You could not do this casting today. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that part's offensive, I guess. But I thought he was a somewhat charming, effeminate man in for most of the film, so I wasn't offended per se.
Yeah, and obviously for our audience, he doesn't play. He's not a drag queen or anything. So calling it she and the Razzies is both offensive and like lazy. Like that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. I was expecting like a divine type with like a feather boa and a wig. Nope. This is just a dude. All right. Okay, go ahead.
Are you familiar at all with Joe Beth Williams's work?
Yeah, she's the mom
So
and Poltergeist.
I've never seen it, so I didn't recognize it, but
It's not the meatiest role. It's kind of just like reacts to children being abused by ghosts.
she's apparently the only major film of hers I'd seen before, but I don't remember her, is she apparently is in Kramer versus Kramer. Um, I don't remember what she was.
Okay.
Maybe romantic interest of Dustin Hoffman after Meryl Streep or something,
Yeah.
because they break up in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. No clue.
Anywho, she
So
did look familiar to me though. Her teeth in particular, which is weird, but okay, go ahead.
oh yeah. So I probably shouldn't even put Miguel Angel Suarez as Jesus Ramirez because a very kind of thankless role as the other guy in the escape scheme. So do you think this movie could have worked if they just took the character out entirely? That's my question about his part.
It could have, but for lack of better term, it's kind of cute that they had the posse of people trying to help Richard Pryor and actually I think it did help the plot to make the people who work in the prison, the warden's assistant, I guess you call him Craig T. Nelson's character, and he was technically a prisoner, I think, but Jonathan Banks's character, it helped make them more evil to have more people, more good people, criminals around uh Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. So
Yeah.
I think it helped. It could have survived without them, without him, obviously.
Yeah, kind of like the gay guy. They did a good job of not, despite a lot of trappings, he was not stereotypical Mexican or anything really. So go ahead.
I guess I kind of spoiled it, but did you recognize who played according to he's deputy warden, which I didn't even, I don't know if they said that in the movie, but he does hang around the warden a lot. Did you recognize him? And what do you know him for? Like,
Yeah, I always recognize Craig T. Nelson from Coach, which is stupid because I never liked Coach. I never really watched it. It's a horrible sitcom. I mean, obviously, when you think about it for a second, oh yeah, he's in The Incredibles and Poltergeist. Those are both way better. But yeah, yeah, it's very famous. Craig T. Nelson. Yes.
yeah, not much to add. He's also a patriarch in that, what was it? Parenthood show.
Yeah, yeah. Yikes. Well, yikes, it's boring, but
And a crap ton of other shows and movies, including Beverly Hills Troop, and he's in a lot. He's in everything. It feels
Yeah,
like, but
especially in the '80s, it was a go-to for guy and relationship or whatever. Yeah. Uh, did you recognize uh the warden? Walter Beatty is his name.
I was looking at it and be like, that guy looks familiar, which is a good way to look at it because of the actors in this film, he literally had a physical transformation into his known how he looks in terms of an actor. This is before he got fatter and at least he's at least chubby in this movie. Got a little bit fatter and most famously lost his hair and grew that huge mustache. He's in a lot of things in the 90s through 2020s. I know him best for his little run on Better Call Saul, that anger management show I watched, didn't watch regularly, but it was kind of funny. He's apparently in Killers of the Flower Moon, which I don't remember, but that movie was close to 4 hours long.
Yeah. Apparently, his claim to fame is Northern Exposure, which neither of us really got into because it's too young when it aired and it's not really big on streaming or anything.
Probably was a cootie sounding character.
Yeah.
Uh, I already spoiled this as well. Do you recognize Jack Graham, who was like what was he, like an evil snitch in the prison?
Well, he's also the guy who's supposed to be the rodeo rider. For some reason, Craig Taylor is obsessed with him doing the rodeo. Yes. The weird thing about Jonathan Banks, talk about facial change. Jonathan Banks with hair, not to mention without distortion, wrinkles, and a stub nose. He doesn't look like himself for like 30 years after this. Of course, most famously from Breaking Bad. Once you see what he looks like now, yeah, like Trout.
So he probably didn't shrink that much, but he looks a lot taller and stir crazy than he did as Mike Trout in the Breaking Bad Better Call Saul universe.
I don't know if he like did stunt work or something, but he has a hunch as an old man. But yeah. All right. Did you recognize the guy who played Grossberger?
I guess not. He has such a unique look, and he sings at one point, and he sounds very good. And then apparently he was cast the type to do that because his only notable role, which I did see with you, I believe, when we were kids, was he plays one of the cast of characters in the in the Arnold Schwarzenegger Running Man universe that kills criminals.
Yeah,
And in this movie, he sings country music along with Gene Wilder. In Running Man, he sings opera while he tries to electrocute people as Dynamo. Uh, he apparently wrestled before this, but like actual mat wrestling, not WWE.
he does look. If King Kong Bundy was cast in this movie, it'd be really hard to tell them apart. I
He
wonder.
died right after Running Man at 36. So apparently, it was a heart attack. Drugs can fuel a heart attack at a young age, but I don't want to speculate. I didn't see anything about an addiction per se. He's obviously a very large human being.
Yeah,
Rap, was it me reading now?
yeah. The last one, yeah, it's you.
A little surprised it's the last one because there's one more one person I definitely recognized. But
We can do that after, but go ahead.
did you recognize the man sitting in the hospital? Sitting in the hospital, it was one of the funnier. It was a funny scene. Sitting in the hospital I guess you call it the medical ward or something in a prison
Infirmary, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
next to Richard Pryor, the black man sitting next to Richard Pryor in.
Yes. It's the only reason I put him as the last actor because a very small part, doesn't even have a name, a hospital man. But I know him by name, Franklin Ajayi, because he did stand up comedy in the first season of SNL. That's a really weird trivia factoid. Yeah, he's good at that. And then um, I forgot about this, but our jazz singer episode, he's the one in the band who gets all the dialogue because he's the one who can read dialogue. And then yeah, he's a very funny guy. And it's just yeah, it's like just the way very dry delivery where he's like, don't get the Korean guy. He's the one who got my ball or whatever. Like, yeah.
You seem pretty happy about it. Well, no sense getting mad about it. Whatever.
Just say your guy or whatever. Yes. I don't have it obviously, but yeah.
Did you recognize who's in the holding cell scene? Gene Wilder uh, gets coerced. It's kind of bizarre he did it because there's the prisoner who was seeing clowns, seeing flies and invisible flies, and one quote unquote lands on a black man's head, and Gene Wilder slaps the guy's head.
No, I don't recognize anyone.
The black guy's head he slaps is Tony Burton, aka uh, the black prisoner in Assault on Precinct 13, and uh, one of Rocky's cornermen after being Apollo's cornerman in the first Rocky. He's uncredited in this movie, which is kind of bizarre because after Rocky, I mean, he
Yeah.
wasn't a leading man by any stretch, but he was in a Best Picture winner.
I mean, I can kind of visualize, but I don't. Yeah, I don't. We'll talk a little bit more about that scene in the award because that was some good stuff. But all right. I don't know. I had a note about the title Stir Crazy. Uh, that's a good. It's actually a good title. It's about what the movie's about. They don't want to spend 30 years in prison.
The poster really makes you think it's going to be about chicken men or something. So people selling chicken or
Or I guess mascots because that's the closest thing to the movie. Yeah, it's definitely misleading. Speaking of the poster, I agree that the poster is not a great like representation of the prison stuff, but I did like the art design, the black lettering on the white. It's very classy looking. You get good facials. I don't know. It's just an okay poster, whatever. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of putting the whole plot in the text on the poster, but you show the two leading men, the two big draws, which is why this helped make this movie make a bazillion dollars, well, 10 times its budget. Um, and they're showcasing the comedic energy that they have individually and with each other throughout the film. Um, so it is crazy, pun not intended, but that's kind of the vibe they're going for because it works out to be that way in the film too.
Well, when we take a break, I'll put up the international poster, which does a much better job of the crazy part. But let's tease. Okay. So I got the tagline here. It's not the full one that's on the poster, but according to this, the tagline is only these two pigeons could dress up as woodpeckers and go stir crazy. The pigeons and woodpeckers is a bit strong. It's like dad joke.
Clearly, the marketing team was focused on that. The bird part,
It's a thing in
which
Richard
is
Pryor movies. Like I didn't watch it, but the toy there's the Wonder Wheel that it's like in the first act of the movie. It's like I don't know. They give Richard Pryor props. I guess I don't know. I guess because he's a good physical comedian. I guess I don't know. Did you watch the trailer?
yeah, YouTubed it. It's kind of. I don't, it kind of showcased some of the funniest bits from the movie. Although there's other funny bits they didn't cover. There's a lot of funny bits in this movie. Kind of spoiler, I liked it.
I like the movie.
Uh,
Well, yeah, I like the movie. The trailer's fine. It's just they let the clips run a little long. I would have liked the little choppy.
it does cut to them going straight to prison and the again with the birds. Maybe better just leave the birds out of the marketing and just been surprised that they uh the brilliant job they get to try to make money is to dress as woodpeckers at a bank. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's technically impressive that they sing the song and do the dance or whatever. So I get,
well, it should have been a surprise to the viewers and not the center stuff centerpiece of the marketing.
no, I agree. It's very, very strange. I don't think you do that today for a movie about being in prison. That's the tag or whatever. We've already addressed it. There's only one award nomination this movie got, which is kind of surprising considering how popular it was. But yes, I'm just gonna say that whatever. George Stanford Brown was nominated for Worst Supporting Actress, losing to Amy Irving and Honeysuckle Rose. I mean, he did a good. He's not a woman, and he did a fine performance in the movie. So it's whatever. He
But
could have been nominated
clearly,
for.
I don't want to rail on this because it's not the point of the podcast, but clearly there's a certain element of shock nominating, I would say shock casting by the Razzies.
Yeah, we talked last time. I have some the valid concerns about Amy Irving and the Honeysuckle Rose, but yes, the very stunty because otherwise every nominee in Worst Supporting Actress is like competent actress trying to do a job more or less. So they needed a wacky one for a hook, I guess. I don't know.
Problem with these worst lists of any kind is the truly worst actress or actor in any year is like in a movie you've never heard of. But don't want to have fun because some of the like the red letter media videos I've watched with you, like that. Well, there's so many bad red letter media movies, but like that, like the remember specific ones. And it's not probably not worth it, but there's like a mob movie one that's really cheaply done where the camera is not straight in terms when the camera character is looking at the camera and then they go to the other character, it's not the same angle. Like that
Yeah,
type of poor quality of cinema is probably where worst actors and actresses lie if it's truly worst performance of the year, but it has to be mainstream, got attention
yeah,
worse than that bunch.
you're absolutely right. And the '80s would be a much easier, and especially the '70s, but the '80s would be a much easier time for straight to, for just Drek, like bad horror movies and stuff. But yeah, all right. Uh, take a trivia break. So stir crazy about prison. This will be pretty easy. Just I'll say a fictional, more or less fictional character. I think they're all fictional. Character, and you tell me what universe, movie, TV show, whatever they're from.
Okay.
Number one, Andy Dufresne.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yes. Michael Schofield. Schofield.
Someone watched every episode of the show and regrets it. Prison Break.
Yes. Red Reznikoff.
Is that the Blacklist?
You're kind of on a track. It's Orange is the New Black.
Oh, I thought you were. I, I didn't know that, but oh, that's Catherine Janeway.
Yeah.
Or
Catherine Mulgrew.
thinking of Red Reddington on the Blacklist.
Oh, good knowledge. Sirius Black.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, he's in more than one, so whatever. Not that I care. But anyway, Edmund Dantes. Edmund Dantes.
Count of Monte Cristo.
Yep. No, it's a breezy break. Yes. I'm just gonna jettison this technical category one, unless you have anything to add about that. technical aspects of this movie.
No, cinematography wasn't notable. He's a non-linker on Wikipedia, which is a good sign. Uh,
Talk about the mediocre music, you know.
Makeup for the rodeo clown stuff, maybe, but other than that, costumes were not notable. A lot of
Not per-
prison jumpsuits.
I mean, the bird costumes are stupid, but it's a comedy, so I guess it's fine. The woodpecker heads are not particularly well crafted. Yeah. All right. Let me start the awards real quick. So best scene in the movie. I only wrote two down. I'm sure there's more options. Uh, the my first nominee. I like the editing of this. The bank robbery with the criminals wearing bird suits, intercut with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor eating lunch while ogling women, and then the famous scene where they're walking into prison and Richard Pryor says, "Get bad, get bad." That's probably my choice. I guess it's pretty famous.
What's the category?
Best scene. I only had two, but just obviously tons of options. Otherwise,
Yeah, it's a nice series of scenes where they're trying to torture Gene Wilder, like you mentioned the limbs and the chains. Yeah, he's in that whole thing, and then after 4 days, he's like, "Please, sir, one more day." Um,
yeah,
feels like a tie, but yeah, I guess it is the get hard thing because just not to diminish Gene Wilder, but Richard Pryor's kind of MVP of the movie and his comedic mannerisms, and the way he reacts to things and moves. Um, so that kind of showcases it. Well, Gene Wilder does make it better by kind of going overboard with it and then ending with doing karate noises as he enters the holding cell.
yeah. Also, candidate for best scene is the all the stuff in the holding cell, like when the big black guy's like he wants a cigarette and Richard Pryor can't strike the match. It's like there's a lot of stuff, a lot of wacky cutaways to character actors in the holding cell.
I give Sidney Poitier credit for not screwing it up when comedic timing and stuff.
Mhm.
Or break, I just want that because when they try one of the things they try to do to torture them is put Grossberger in the same cell as them,
Yeah,
and then they, the guards come around the corner and they're playing cards.
yeah.
Good shock edit viewing.
Mhm. So before we go to the worst scenes, I want to briefly mention the some kind of Asian distribution. I think it's maybe Korean,
Doesn't look like Korean writing to me. I maybe it's Jap.
Japanese. Well, it's one of the three: Korean, Japanese, or Chinese. Anyway, uh, you got I want to point at it, but yeah, you got multiple Richard Pryors. Uh, that's about it. You can see it silly.
Those are Japanese characters.
Wow. Yeah, because Richard Pryor and then Richard Pryor also hanging up Grossberger.
And Richard Pryor doesn't quite look like Richard Pryor.
No, it's kind of like yeah, the boardwalk for $5 caricature of Richard Pryor. The whole poster looks like a bad bodies with somewhat good heads.
Well, one thing about the poster, the guy who played their lawyer, he looked familiar to me when I was watching the movie, and I looked at his IMDb, and I think it's because he guessed it a ton on Super Password, Pyramid, and shows like that. So I think watching Game Show Network reruns, I've probably seen him work with contestants.
Yeah. So let's get to the worst scene category. Worst scene candidates. Okay. Uh, Can number one. Gene Wilder as a store detective awkwardly hitting on an actress, an alleged dress thief. I know you're
It
naked under there.
was just awkward, wasn't funny. I agree.
Yep. Can number two. That scene in the bar where some guy named Alex is having his balls squeezed in a vice.
Yep. Like definitely seen probably better balls in peril scenes before.
Shorter at least. And I mentioned before the very cheesy music while the driving montage to Arizona is not very good. The cinematographical storytelling there. I just have a generic nominee for all the times Gene Wilder. Oh, never mind. Redacted. Never mind. Gene Wilder's fine. And then finally, that slow mo sequence of Gene Wilder riding the bull in the warden's office. So lame.
I kind of liked it. How it's surprised how good he is at it. So I'm definitely not voting for that, but you can vote for that if you want.
Oh, I'm gonna vote for it. Hitting on that actress who was younger, much younger than Gene Wilder was at the time. Even it's very awkward.
Um,
Or the balls in the bar. They're kind of tight. Okay, same problem. It's like what's going on?
yeah, that because in the poster, the you mentioned earlier, the guy that strikes a match in the holding pen. I
Yeah,
was expecting that character to come back, and he didn't. But my pick for worst nominee from the ones you said was definitely uh the ethnic cab driver putting the white businessman balls in a vice or whatever handheld vice or whatever pliers, whatever he was using.
yeah,
Just goes on so long, and then Gene Wilder's talking to him like, "You didn't you want to give him your share of money, right?" And he goes, he's like holding his breath and moaning for
yeah.
awkward and bad, not funny.
Totally. Okay. Let's get to best quotes. Definitely more candidates than I thought of, but when Richard Pryor figures out that the chef put his marijuana in the salad. He goes, "You cook my grass," and then
Yeah.
more Richard Pryor line deliveries. He gives all his money to the sleazy repairman to fix his old van or whatever, and he's like, "Merry Christmas." Oh, that was good. And then I mentioned before the crying while trying to light the match. Uh, when he meets George Stanford Brown or whatever, he's like, "My name's not Sweet Pants, man." Oh, that was good. And then when Franklin and Jackie or hospital man or whatever tells him about his surgery, and Richard Pryor goes, "Say what?" And then just for show, I put a Gene Wilder one when he asks Joe Beth Williams about the play, and he says like it's cosmic that they met or whatever. It's kind of cute, but any one of the Richard Pryor ones wins. I can't pick a winner. I don't know.
I'd probably pick one you didn't say because I guess you mentioned the best scene, but oh no, I want double dip.
True.
Uh, yeah, I'll go with give that guy in Neil Diamond's band and jazz singer credit too. It's the whole scene is very well done with the two of them and the Korean doctor. Um,
Yeah, yeah. It's not. I guess it's just in the context. It's just funny that an actual Korean doctor shows up and he runs out.
and give the guy Franklin Ajaye or whatever his name is credit for being so deadpan when he says you. I mentioned it before where he says you seem so calm about it because he's talking about getting his balls removed, and then he says there's no sense getting mad about it.
Yeah, that was definitely literally a thankless role. It's not even a name. He did a good job. Yeah. All right. Worst quotes, pretty short. A lot of caveats here, whatever. Um, Gene Wilder's kung fu noises. I know it's for comedic effect, but it's not very good. And
I
then
laughed at that, so I'm not voting for that.
uh, this throwaway line Gene Wilder says where he starts writing things down because he says these quotes you hear in prison are great play dialogue, and then it never really comes back. This is weird. And then oh, this is my pick. It went way too long. They're at the rodeo setting up the escape, and the other African American guy with the perm or whatever is like, yeah, when the bull gets you, it's gonna stab you in the leg and you're gonna die. And it's just I don't know what to make Richard Pryor nervous. I guess it was boring.
Uh, it's a candidate for worst scene that I'm thinking about. I just thought it was. I'm not sure if it's the same black guy we're talking about. This is great. This is great. Uh,
But yeah, it wasn't clear who that character was. It was another black guy at the rodeos, some inmate, but I don't know. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because then there's. I think his name's Blade.
Maybe.
When he's teaching Richard Pryor how to be a rodeo clown, and the whole scene with the every bull has a word,
This is what I'm talking. This is the scene I'm talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he said, and then he's like, sometimes the word's this, sometimes the word that, and then Richard Pryor and the course dialect goes shit, and then shit triggers the bull, and then that's probably my candidate for worst line. Probably Charles Bolden. Blade goes, "That's the word."
That whole scene was weird. It was they just needed an extra scene or something else because it wasn't. I don't know. It was weird.
Just whole character was weird because they introduced him as like the leader, a leader within the prison that you want to get good with, but then he's barely in it, and then he tr randomly trains Richard Pryor how to be a rodeo clown.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't seem that important in the end that he was a good rodeo clown or not, or I don't know. Whatever. So anyone in this movie who reached their high point of their career in this movie, as arguably as Richard Pryor's high point, his as I mentioned, his movies are very uneven as cohesive films. He's great in all of them, but Sidney Poitier's directing, this is definitely number one, I think. And then what's his name? Lisberger, the fat the fat murderer.
It's like four movies in his whole career, so not much to choose from. But
Yeah, Grossberger. I mean, it was a good part in this movie at least, but yeah, that's my pick. I mean, it's obvious, but
kind of reserve the right that I think for this that category, I think there's times you could say pick no one. I don't know. I really enjoyed the film, but I can't really say anyone did their best. I mean, let's get really into like supporting characters, like the guy who played their attorney, or the guy who played or George. I pronounce without any second
yeah,
E.
yeah, yeah, I know, I understand. Yes, this movie's good. It's a solid movie. It's not career defining for anyone really. The only low point nominee I thought of was George Stanford Brown because he does a good job. He's a good actor, but just a straight man playing a gay man, it's probably the role he would talk least about in a retrospective. He was actually a successful actor too. He did a lot of TV work in cop shows and stuff. But
Uh, I'll say it. I think this is he's in a lot of he could be a pretty bad actor. Well, not a bad actor per se. Well, I guess I could say that. It's just in so much stuff that some of it's bad, but I think this is pretty near rock bottom for Craig T. Nelson. A lot of times when I see quote unquote bad acting, I don't think it's necessarily their fault. I think it's sometimes it's characters not written well, and then that might be the case here. But he's just so he plays a comedy bad guy where it's not funny, not really that bad, just forgettable. The the warden's more entertaining though, much more entertaining to watch than him. He's he's just Well, actually, he is kind of just bad. He's not trying to be funny, and I don't get the point of he's just sadistic. Um, it's
Yeah,
com it's comedy sadistic, so he doesn't do anything particularly egregious like hit hit someone to the edge of death with a billy club or something. But so most arguably most prolific actor in the movie, and he's I'd say very bad in this movie, or his character is at least.
yeah. It's a filler. It's definitely a filler intermediary character, and his obsession with having Jonathan Banks do the rodeo, that was just bizarre. Yeah. All right, let's do the MVP of the movie. I only have three candidates: Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder, Grossberger. Probably have to go Richard Pryor. There's a lot there. What?
All he does is look mean and then sing. At one point.
I know, but
People keep
he
calling
has,
him
he,
Grossberger.
here's my defense of the nominee. Okay, because he adds a novelty to the movie. Because I mean, I guess a lot of movies even before this had the comedic sort of like schlubby fat guy who can do more than you expect or whatever. But I don't know, he did it well. I don't think the movie is fun without him.
Did you pick someone?
Yeah, Pryor, just
It
stock
has to be
Pryor.
Richard Pryor. Again, for a very successful comedy movie for me, where I was laughing the entire time. When you it's almost you think about it too much about like problems with the screenplay and stuff. I Bruce J. Friedman wrote way too much. The way the Gene Wilder characters written becomes too talkative, or it start a lot of times starts with a somewhat funny concept and then devolves into something more boring and tedious, where Richard Pryor gets, to his benefit, a lot less dialogue in scenes, and it's more his reactions and movements and sounds. So Richard Pryor is definitely uh, feels like he's at his peak in this movie.
Yeah, yeah. This probably is the high point of his. Well, I'll get back in that. Okay, anyway, yes, I agree. Uh, Awards for the least valuable player of this movie. I got very esoteric with this. So, candidate number one, the rodeo and all the rodeo stuff was weird, and then meandering plot in the middle while they're just in prison. Uh, the portrayal of Korean doctors. This isn't least this isn't least really. I just want a nitpick point. So they do this elaborate escape from prison, and then their lawyer and his sister catch them escaping and tell them, "Oh, you can just do whatever you want now because you didn't do the bank robbery." But they just escaped from prison. That's a federal crime.
The movie's not made for logic.
Uh,
Uh,
so the rodeo stuff is definitely. I understand that you need a plot point for them to escape and stuff, but way too much talking about rodeo horses and it's boring.
yes, they could have rodeo in general. Um, yeah, so I agree. And a lot of training for the rodeo at the prison. Um, there's only so much comedy can get, even by 1980, get so cliche with, oh no, there's an angry bull, it's gonna run after me, type of humor.
Or get on this mechanical bull. Oh, it's gonna throw you off.
Yeah, the surprising thing on, I actually like that, but
Well, okay, I understand, but yeah, okay, we agree at least at parts that the rodeo stuff was a bit much. Yeah, yeah,
the two prisons going against each other in the rodeo, rivalry between the wardens. It's just a subplot you don't need. Wasn't
yeah.
funny.
It's very Revenge of the Nerds. Like we got to have a athletic competition so we can measure the winners and the losers.
And then the winning prisoner throws all the money to the prisoners.
Yeah, which is nice. Not no way anyone could keep money like that, but
Just cliche.
yeah. So before we slowly start wrapping things up here, let's go to Critics Corner. I pulled up Roger Ebert's review again because he's my favorite. I agree with Roger Ebert's critique of this movie. He didn't love this movie. He thought it started out really funny with a lot of like loose dynamic energy, and then it got kind of plot heavy in prison. And I kind of agree. It wasn't bad, but it was just got a little diluted with the trying to justify why this movie has a act structure thing.
I don't agree that it had a strong start.
I oh, I like well, I probably just think it's Richard Pryor's you cooked my grass.
It's like, what?
I know, I know. But
Well,
then
for anything in the prison, then the giggling, giggling people at the dinner table, which was,
I thought that I'm not saying that was a great scene. It was better than you would expect when the priest is like, uh, I don't think, yeah, I don't know. The priest getting high was whatever. It was kind of funny, kind of funny.
I think the best gags actually happened in prison. I think it's just the is good and bad in the prison with the rodeo and the stuff and the actual gags in the prison. Uh,
Yeah, but I do think my favorite jokes are from the first half. Even the prison ones are earlier. But yeah, yeah, still a good movie. Talk about where this ranks in the Razzie pantheon. This is no way this is a Razzie movie. It's very good. Everyone acts competently, like they went to theater school or whatever. I mean, so it's not The Shining, I guess, but
probably
I
not
enjoy
Gloria
it.
either.
What?
Probably not Gloria either.
Yeah, but it's very enjoyable. Doesn't hurt anyone. It'd be very high on my list of the best Razzie movies of this year.
So the nominees at the first Razzie Awards. This is a strong number three. Uh,
Who's four on that
by
list?
what?
Who'll be four on that list behind the
Oh
circulating
God, I
ship?
really need to make. That's my homework for next episode is to make power rankings.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean. The way you said it, I thought you had a number. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But
No, it's that I'm just. My point is, despite its flaws, it's two of the, especially it's two comedy icons with strong performances. So it's in the echelon. It is beneath Gloria and beneath The Shining, but it's up there in quality. And they really should be saying to themselves, they could say they're trying to be funny, but uh, nominating a man for worst actress is offensive. Is a gay man for worst actress is offensive and stupid.
I don't know who's worse than him, but he's a good actor in this movie. That's what just bothers me. Yeah, like,
Guess Friday the 13th is fourth in terms of his legacy, but it's probably something like more than that.
well, I'd put yeah, up there with Windows and Cruising. I love Cruising. Probably way more needed, I think. But yeah,
No, I actually put Flash Gordon with both those things you just said, and probably Xanadu.
fair, fair. Those are the major ones, I think. Not seems like old times. Oh, so close.
So I don't want to talk about the movie anymore.
Yes. All right. Well, we're going to talk about a movie next week on this show. Both to modernize the shows we talk about, and it's just fun to do see the beginning and the end of the Razzies. We're going to do a movie from 2025, the 2026 Razzie ceremony. Let's see if Marcus can guess what this is. Clue number one. It was directed by Rich Lee and co-produced by Wanted director Timur Bekmambetov.
Hmm. Since I have no clue, it'll be funny and say Hamnet.
Clue two. This movie co-stars Evil Longoria and Clark Gregg.
I know. Still no clue. Well, it's gotta be Sinners.
Clue three. Uh, it, it's this movie apparently involves a lot of Zoom call type situations and stars Ice Cube.
Oh my God.
Yep,
Is
we're
this
gonna get.
War of the Worlds?
That's right. We're watching everyone's third favorite, probably lower War of the Worlds adaptation available for free for Amazon Prime subscribers. 2025 looks so much worse than 1980. It's not even close.
Give me a lot of worst quote nominees.
A lot of like lazy action movies you never heard of. Starting with War of the Worlds. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. All right. Next time on Twin Bill. Look to the
Bring
Terror.
that back. Bring it. Just end the podcast.
Book me on your shows, or let's be best friends and hang out. Maybe I don't know.